Is Real Housewives of Atlanta the house that Nene built? As she stated yesterday in her internet breaking interview with Carlos King on his podcast, Reality with the King. Now, Nene talked about how, listen, I got it when she was talking about it. I did. I got it. Her having a personal stake in the success of the show from its inception, from pilot to where it is today, right? And the history she's made over the years, the things that she's been included in terms of the realm of pop culture as a result of her being on the show. So I was wondering when we would get some response. Now, I started to do another video after because I saw it yesterday afternoon, and I'll take you through the spaces that I saw it and the order that I saw this discourse happening in. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait because I felt like I wanted to allow yesterday's video to percolate quite a bit. But let's get into it because we got some other news to talk about, like some investigations, some returns back to the show. Baby, let's get into it. All right, so Lanithia Leaks got a response from Miss Sheree Whitfield, who posted, interestingly, after the episode dropped. She said, "Our house, the beauty of an ensemble cast," and then she said, "Happy Tuesday" in the caption. Clearly a response to Nene's reference that Real Housewives of Atlanta was the house that she built. Okay. Now, recall that Nene did indicate that Sheree was there. It was her, Kim, and Nene who shot the pilot. And I believe Sheree came as a recommendation of Nene's. I think that's the case. So interesting that Sheree was the one who commented. Kim, I'm assuming, is quite busy these days, not calling 911. And so then I happened to catch this that was posted on the Housewives of ATL Instagram page. And Nene comments and says, "Let's not forget, Andy Cohen told y'all this is the house that Nene Leaks built. Remember? He posted it on Twitter. Go Google it. Sheree was never there long enough. Oh, and I referred Sheree to be on the show. Okay, bye." Now, she made reference to Sheree kind of being in and out over the years anyway. And it's also interesting to me because that is the truth of the matter. Sheree, while she is an OG, Sheree is more of an ensemble player. I mean, let's just face it. I have nothing against Sheree. I quite like Sheree as a part of the mix. I feel like this is Real Housewives of Atlanta is home for her. And so I feel like I get why she's still there. I get her place on the show. I really do. And it does provide a little bit of history to have an official OG still on the show, right? All right, so then our friends over at OMFG Reality TV happened to pull up the tweet. Now, this again is the order that I saw things in yesterday. So back in 2018, Nene Leakes had tweeted out, "Real Housewives of Atlanta is my baby. I started this franchise, shot the pilot, and waited for it to be shopped." For those of you guys who don't know how the television industry works, at this point, which I know that a lot of you do, but for those who don't, typically you will shoot a pilot or a sizzle. It can be pitched to a production company, and then that production company can actually take that a step further and produce a pilot or a bigger sizzle for presentation for a network, and then the network can pick it up. This process could take anywhere from months to years to happen. A good example of this, I think, would be the Encore, which you guys may recall. The clip of Keely arguing with Farrah went around the internet for quite some time, years before the Encore was actually greenlit for production, and we actually saw it. So sometimes that process, like I said, can take between days, weeks, months, and years, right? So I get that ownership. I understand. I do understand it. I do understand it. So Andy Cohen then retweeted and said, Real Housewives of Atlanta is the house that Nene built, thus confirming what Nene said. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Do you have a better understanding of why Nene feels the way that she feels? Or do you think that Sheree is justified in saying that this is the house that we built? Chime down in the comment section down below. All right. So now we got to talk about another house, the house of Peter Thomas. Okay. Now, of course, we have to put the alleged badge up because, listen, the people is litigious these days. So I just want to make sure that we're doing the right things. Okay. However, trusted source, the Shade Room, has definitely done a very deep dive. Okay. And the result is this here. It's about a 6 to 7 minute video clip deep diving into Peter Thomas being under investigation after allegedly refusing to pay the Bar One staff, hence the alleged badge down below. All right. So the caption reads, Peter Thomas, known for his involvement in the popular Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, is under fire after several of his employees have come forward claiming that he owes them thousands of dollars. I had previously heard rumblings about this, I think, over the years, but I mean, it's a difficult thing. I have worked for companies where the paychecks didn't cash as well. So listen, I understand this level of frustration. I'm telling you, when I was in LA, I saw all kinds of things in terms of how people were paid, not paid, and all kinds of shenanigans, right? So it says Thomas has opened restaurant after restaurant in places like Miami, Charlotte, Baltimore, and Atlanta. However, business might not be booming the way he claims it is. His bar one, his Sports One bar and lounge in Charlotte shut down after a $237,000 in unpaid taxes. His Baltimore restaurant has been empty for months following employees refusing to work due to non-payment. And now the Department of Labor is stepping in after things took a turn for the worse at his Bar One Miami location as well. Could this be a case of dysfunctional employee management or just bad business practice? Now, um, first of all, shout out to the gentleman who did the reporting in this. I mean, top tier news broadcast voice, man. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all something. The guy who does this, he got it down pat. Like that news voice, that official voice. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's why I didn't make it in news like I thought I would, or like I thought I would. Like I thought I would enjoy it in a different way, and I just didn't because I really only wanted to talk about entertainment news. Right? That's number one. But he just got it down. So I just wanted to give him his flowers. However, they interview a general manager, a former, I think, head chef, I think, if I recall correctly in this video. I won't play it because that's the property of the Shade Room. However, I can give you this bit of information. So the general manager is detailing things that were not, done right in terms of business practices. You know, it's a lot of information. I think the head chef was detailing an issue of non-payment. There were other employee examples of non-payment, of people approaching the general manager down in Miami, people having to sleep in the restaurant because, well, a person having to sleep in the restaurant because they were not being paid or the check wasn't going through. I don't really know what's going on. But I do know that Peter Thomas did have a response to the Shade Room that they did post in their video. Now, he says, why? Y'all gonna run with what? I guess they asked if he wanted to make a statement in response. And he said, why? Y'all gonna run with what works for y'all. Now we want to act like real journalists. At the end of the day, I will still be here. And then what? Y'all look stupid. Been here from 1985 and put on more people than y'all can imagine. So, um, you know, I don't know how the restaurante business works. I really don't. From the outside looking in, I mean, it does look questionable. So I don't really know how to respond to this because when people are saying that they're not being paid, people don't just say that they're not being paid to just to say it. You know what I'm saying? Typically, there's a reason for it. And that's a problem. And especially if the Department of Labor is getting involved, I want, as a black man, I want Peter Thomas to win. I really do. But I do feel like, this restaurante lounge business model, I don't know if that's the best route to go. You know what I'm saying? For him. And maybe that's just me speculating based on what I see in the news. However, it just seems like an overwhelming amount of work that maybe he's just not well equipped for. But what do I know? I am not in the restaurante business. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section down below. I did find this one comment pretty hilarious where a person in the comment section said, the first time I don't get paid on payday, I'm gonna be Carly on day two. And that's that's all I'm gonna go into with that. I think it's time to talk about showing up to work, okay? Showing up to work and actually getting paid. Yes. So, what am I speaking about? Well, I'm talking about showing up like Charisse because Charisse Jackson Jordan reveals that she is actually returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac for season 8 in the official friend capacity. According to our friends over at Everything Housewives, OG Charisse Jackson Jordan revealed that she will, in fact, be returning to the next season of The Real Housewives of Potomac as an official friend of, despite early rumors stating that she was axed. Okay. So the person says, please tell me you come back after another season of Real Housewives of Potomac. Charisse pretty pleased. Charisse says, I'm an official friend. So there you have it. It's no longer word on the streets. It's official from the Charisse's mouth. And I did tell you guys, if there is a lesson to be learned in this whole situation, it is this: show up like Charisse. Here's what I mean by that. And you could take this as being shade, or you could take this as life advice. Just show up until you get paid. Okay. Um, it, maybe not at the bar one, okay. But maybe down to the Potomac Housewives. On a serious note, what I will say is a part of me wonders if this transition was made because there was word that Kiana, I think her name is Kiana Stewart, who is a friend of Wendy's, and also was in the altercation with Deborah. I'm wondering if there's maybe now a diminished role for Kiana due to the altercation and an upgrade for Charisse, or if both of them may end up being friends of the show. And if so, that tells me that there must be significant story for Charisse to add to in order to make her an official friend of the show or voice of the show. And I also think what Potomac is potentially trying to do is keep around as many of its OGs as possible, because I think that what they recognize is the value of those core relationships, and how Charisse, who truthfully, you listen, you may not like her or you may think she's unnecessary, but she was there from the inception. Similar to, I'm sure, perhaps how Nene feels so personally tied to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I do believe there is a personal connection for Charisse with the Housewives of Potomac, since she was in general the nucleus, I believe, from what I understand of people who were actually selected for the show. So with that being said, let me know, are you excited about Charisse Jackson Jordan showing back up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Not Atlanta. Lord have mercy. I'm still thinking about Atlanta. Of Potomac for season 8. Let me know in the chatterization down below. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.